Welcome to the release of Nikeloops, a 360-degree video and VR piece by CultureHub Resident Artist Joseph Brock. I am Maddie Barber-Bockelman. I'm the producing director here at CultureHub, and I'm here in our studio in the East Village in New York City, joined by Joseph, who will be with us later on to have a conversation, and we're really excited to have you here. In just a few moments, we will all watch the premiere of Nikeloops, and then Joseph will be joined by fellow CultureHub resident artist Brigette Dunn-Korpela, who is at her home in Los Angeles. So this is a 360-degree live stream. If you're on a computer, you can use your computer mouse to click and drag around to explore the space, and you can do that right now while I'm talking. You can also use the keys WASD to move around, to navigate around, whichever one you like better. If you're on a smartphone or a tablet, you're going to need to use the YouTube app. We are not sponsored or anything. And then you can just use your phone to explore the space. And it's quite satisfying. If you got your cardboard VR headset, you can also go ahead and pop your phone in and put your goggles on. If you have headphones, please wear them. This is an audio-visual piece, and you'll be grateful to have the headphones on. So after the premiere, we will have a conversation. And if you have any questions or think of any while you're experiencing Nikeloops, go ahead and you can put them in the YouTube chat and I'll bring them to the artists. So, here we go. Without further ado, Nikeloops.
Here I go. side ride.
GoPro stop recording.
All right. So now I am joined by Joseph Brock, whose work you just saw. Congratulations, Joseph.
Thank you.
And we are lucky to be joined by Brigette Dunn-Korpela, CultureHub Resident Artist in Los Angeles. And Brigette, so good to see you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Brigette is a choreographer, artist, educator, and the artistic director and founder of Be Done Movement. And at Culture Hub, she is developing Echo Immersive Experience, which is a collection of modular vignettes that weave together the narrative of the kidnapping and enslavement of tens of millions of African bodies during the transatlantic slave trade. During the residency, Echo Immersive Experience is being developed into an immersive experience with live performance combined with AR and VR technologies. And Brigette is here to have a conversation with Joseph, and so here you go, guys.
Awesome. First of all, thank you. Thank you for that lovely introduction, and congratulations, Joseph. Really, congrats.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. How you feeling?
I feel good. It's played.
Good.
It's out there. It's in the world.
Yeah. It's been birthed.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. From where it goes now, I don't know. So
Awesome.
I've done my job.
Congrats to you and your amazing work. Yeah. So just curious. I mean, we're here to have a conversation. If you could even right away just talk to how did you arrive, at this piece? What was
Yeah. So the history of this piece, this is actually one of the earliest pieces that I actually thought of many moons ago, many years ago, actually. I was I was actually at a full-time job, working, felt trapped in kind of my life at the time. And I kind of was thinking about that, thinking about physically being trapped behind a desk, thinking about being trapped in philosophically and in all these different ways, and somehow that bore this work, or the concept of this work, trying to explore that, and think about that in a way that could lead to something interesting. And it's going through many iterations over the last 3 to 4 years, leading to what you just saw, really.
Can you talk about so in VR? So here you are using this technology. That's new for you, and if so, why are you using this now in this?
Yeah, so it is very new. So the original concept for the work was not too far off from what we saw. There was more storyline actually in the work, but it was always going to be 6 walls, very much like what we saw, but it was going to be 6 physical walls, really. It was going to be a room, like I was thinking of a gallery space, so a 6-walled space, and that was the original concept for it. When I started working on the piece and actually developing it in the final state with Culture Hub, it was in the middle of the pandemic. We didn't know if we were going to be able to get inside of a physical space. It was April. So it was April and May. So there was literally we didn't know what was going to happen. And one of I don't know if it was Maddie or Billy, but they suggested VR. I was a little apprehensive at first, but then I started actually thinking about the work, what the work meant, what the work ideas were, and trying to wrap my head around it. And then it completely just dawned on me. I was like, this is really the best space for the ideas of this work. It really, I think, took it to another level. So I can't really even take full credit for VR. But I think it actually was a genius idea because it really kind of, I think, heightened conceptually and philosophically what I was trying to do with the work.
I'm going to jump back. Actually, I'm going to jump forward because we were talking earlier, and the walls themselves are really compelling. You had an opportunity to, again, experience with the goggles, and what I found really interesting, again, it's like you're in this cardboard container, but then in the virtual space, then you're very specific about maintaining, those angles, those borders. They're very visible. And so I don't know if you could speak to, again, this idea of like, the multi layers of container, being in a container, during this process. So
yes, I was very specific, and I really wanted it to feel like an artificial space. I wanted that artifice because I wanted it to I wanted it to feel trapped. I wanted you to feel trapped, and I think the dual layer of why it works so well in VR is because you have the cardboard box on, or your Google whatever kind of VR space, in the ultimate sense of viewing the work, or even in your phone, this box that you're kind of adding your attention to. And then inside of that box, you are inside of another box, which is the VR space that I created. And then from there, then you're, inside of my body, because I'm like the avatar. So there's these different layers of being entrapped in a space, and being and having to kind of like see the world kind of move without your control.
The other thing that was really interesting is that, but the walls that you chose in terms of the virtual space still had moving images, and they were also images of an exterior, of an outdoor environment.
Yeah.
So if you could speak to that, the idea of this illusion of, openness, but yet still, I don't know if you could kind of.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. The illusion of movement, the illusion of openness, it all kind of just compounds for me. And that's kind of, I think to some degree that's what art can do. That's kind of what I try to do with my work, is trying to compound my decisions to affect, my ultimate goals. And what I really wanted was these illusions of freedom. I'm very interested in the illusion of being free, very much even in the concept of the piece, running, and then going back to the beginning and trying to do that run again. So there is a freedom there, but there is a trap there as well. You're stuck. You're in a loop, and I think that seeing the world from like these different perspectives. And there is this movement, but you can't actually interact with it. You can't actually control it. It's just kind of happening while you're kind of watching it happen around you. Is another layer to that.
Let's talk about the running a little bit.
Yeah.
So, this, it seems like, and I'm obviously coming from a movement-based world and practice. I'm curious, can you talk about this preparation for you, really embodying this experience in your own body? Like, how was that in terms of preparing yourself physically for this?
Yeah. So, I definitely should have done way more preparation for coming from like most of us being kind of stuck in the house, and for a large part of like months previous, not really going outside. There's a scare of going outside. You'll catch it. I was not in a very good bodily kind of in shape to do the amount of work it took really to make this piece, because it took over. I think there's like each clip is a run on its own, and there's 6 angles, and each angle has 15 clips around that amount. So you do the math, and so there's there's over 100 runs total. There's maybe like 150 individual runs that I did over the course of a few weeks. So it was very taxing physically for me, but I like that idea for multiple reasons. I needed it. I needed to get in shape. By the end of it, I was much better. I had to be thoughtful about my body, and I realized afterwards I should have been more thoughtful about my body. In terms of the actual prep I did, I I got like a foam roller, did a lot of stretches beforehand, and tried to be conscious about staying hydrated, and kind of just I had knee braces on while I was doing this because I have bad knees.
Yeah.
So it really kind of made me think about my body again in a way, and like just me as a physical being, and the body in a philosophical way, all these different ways. I was thinking about the body, so it was like a really interesting experience doing these runs, and I really wanted to do them. I didn't really want somebody else to do them. I wanted to experience making the work. Myself.
No, I mean, it again, and it's just a lot again when the body, becomes again the instrument. And I was curious what information, which you pretty much answered, but I might just ask it again. Like, what information did you get from the body? What did you learn from your actual body during this?
What a lot of what I learned from my body was looking at the footage. I learned kind of how the legs kind of work a little bit more was like one thing that was really curious for me. I learned, and in that way, kind of like the way the movement works in your body, the running, the mechanics of the body a little bit, the fulcrum of the arm being attached to the shoulders and what movement that kind of creates in the arms. How the legs kind of extend in the different ways I can extend them to like a longer stride or shorter stride, a choppier stride. How fast can I get an even speed if I go from one video to another video? Where am I when I'm moving my body? So I'm like thinking about all those different types of things while I'm actually, making the work, because I'm making all these decisions on set while I'm actually doing it, the speed, the angles of what I want to do. So it was really an exploration of the body. How much should my arms move up and down? How much do they move up normally? Should I change it to get a different kind of experience? So it really kind of made me think very kind of minutely about things going on in my body, and just the limits of what my body could handle. Like, can my cardiovascular system handle me doing another run? No.
Right.
So so I have to, plan to come back another time, finish that run, can my knees handle this run? Can maybe if I adjust this, there's actually 2 videos inside of the whole work where I'm actually on my bike, because for one thing, I realized how much movement, even movement that you don't really expect happens in the body, and how kind of shaky the body is, and how much the camera was shaking. And I was like, I want 2 smooth shots. So at the very end of the front view, there's it's me actually on my bike. So like, 'cause I didn't really think about any of those things until I actually was experiencing the body, how much little movement up and down, side to side, how much little variations happen as you move. So it was a very interesting experience, and it's something that I wasn't really thinking of going into the work, but it was something that I realized that was really important for me, because of what I'm trying to do with my work. And I wanted my work to be about the body, about the spirit, and about the mind. So even though I wasn't planning on it being so much about the body, it really tapped into that, and I was able to explore it.
Because the body seems like, you're right, again, it was a mechanism, a tool, for this form of expression. And it's interesting, when we were chatting earlier, the compartmentalization of the body visually, looking at being able to see your legs and then from different vantage points, but not necessarily ever seeing it in its totality. Or so I don't know if you could even talk about that, like, the viewership, experiencing you as you, also then looking at you, and then again seeing you from a compartmentalized sort of in a compartmentalized way. I don't know if you could talk about that. Just tripping over my words here.
Yeah. I for me, it was a lot of different ideas from it. I like creating a work that you couldn't really experience the totality of it in one go, because there's so many little different things happening. People passing me. You know, you can hear the sound of somebody going by. Sometimes I fake it a little bit. I wanted a lot of different things happening where you couldn't really get everything at once. I like all of my work kind of being like that. The compartmentalizing of the body also was really interesting because I think sometimes we, or at least I'll say I, kind of lose focus by trying to multitask. And I think this kind of work kind of somehow is related to that because this multiple things are going on at once, but you can only really focus on one thing at a time. Like when you're thinking about things intently, like when you're thinking about the work or when you think about your body, you can really only focus on one thing at a time. Like when I was running and I'm thinking about the body, I'm thinking about the angles, you know, I was really literally only shooting one angle at a time. So I'm working on left today. I'm working on left tomorrow. And I'm like really thinking about it. So really the experience of the work in a way, and the only way you can experience, which is really, really one angle at a time, is how I was producing the work. So there's a documentary aspect in that way. But it's also like this idea of like in moment, you can really only think of one thing, which you can expand that to internal things like, okay, I'm going to focus on my relationship right now, or I'm going to focus on my career. We all juggle a lot, but oftentimes it's really hard to focus explicitly on multiple things and give it your full attention.
No, that was interesting because you had said that before in terms of, again, the action, being in the moment, you know, and documenting, like, you know, being very present. Yeah. And
I'm asking for a type of presence. I'm asking for you to be present in the moment and to experience the present moment. And one thing I've noticed when I share the work with you know, share snippets with different colleagues and friends is that they ended up becoming, even though they were transported out of their body, they were also aware of their body at the same time. They're aware of their legs. They're aware of their legs mimicking my legs. And so now they're aware of their legs mimicking my legs, almost like now they're the avatar. So I transport some of what I was doing to them in that moment.
Do you think now with VR, and this is something, again, I think as we're both exploring this, the relationship of the participant and the viewer, you know, how they're experiencing the work through VR, like how does maybe change their understanding, you know, to what it is that's being shared?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think me and you are both thinking about that because I think me and you both are making, you know, VR and extended reality works for the first time. So the I don't know if you feel like this, but the feedback loop isn't that much for me in the sense that like I don't really know how people have experienced it. What I would hope is that it did add a element of kind of extension of maybe disembodiment maybe and an embodiment at the same time for people and being in VR in particular because like again with the goggles you're getting out of your body to get into that space of being trapped. So that's what I hope, you know, happen.
I'm sorry. I know. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, I hope that's what happened. I hope that's how it was kind of experienced or how people might think of it.
I mean, having explored it to, you know, and being inside of it, for me, you know, being able to hear you breathe, you know, and like I said, it's like I felt as if I was, again, with you, of you, and also, but also still looking at you.
An in-between state, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm on this journey with you, and one of the things that was really impactful was the sound and the humming. And so your breath and the humming, and so that took me into a place of nostalgia as you know, visually experiencing this journey. And I don't know if you could talk a little bit more about that, even.
Yeah. The audio. Whew. that the audio was maybe the most difficult part because I had fully conceptualized, I had fully visualized the execution. Obviously, there's little snags along the way, but I kind of understood what that was going to be. The audio was, I mean, the audio was scary. But what I ended up coming to was I wanted to do exactly kind of what you were saying, which is kind of use the different strategies that I've used before to bring you along with me, to bring you somewhere and to push you away. I like this idea of push and pull. So, hearing my breathing kind of centers you inside centers you inside the body along with the video, but then hearing like the remnants of actually another piece of mine, another full piece, I just like plop right in it, inside of Nikeloop. Hearing that in the background, like in the distance, kind of draws you out of the body a little bit. And so I was really kind of curious about trying to make a work that kind of played on those different levels and audio work that could it kind of exists on its own. So the audio work was definitely the most difficult part of this entire process for me, which is surprising because that's mostly what I work in. But for some reason, I think to have it, live up to what I wanted it to do, I kind of had to put in that extra elbow grease for it because I definitely needed you to be, I needed to add you into the body, but I also needed to push you away from my body too.
It felt like there was this multi-sensory, way of connecting. And so again, like I said, humming, and it also seemed to imply a sense of time or timelessness or time being manipulated. I think maybe that's a better way,
I'm very interested in manipulation in different in different forms of my work, right? So if we go for a second to thinking about my painting, I try to act against what we traditionally think in that form. So with painting, we think, we're dominated by, modernism, or we're dominated by maybe a lot of abstract expressionist ideas or kind of what we're doing where, this action painting and, built up over a long time. So the work takes, weeks, if you think of like a de Kooning or something, like months to kind of come about. So in that space, I try to act against it. I try to make my paintings extremely quickly because I like that idea of confuddling time or what we kind of traditionally kind of associate with kind of a form of working. And that could be like, a big painting in like 30 minutes, an hour, or whatever. When it comes to audio work, I was very much interested in compressing. So when it comes to time-based work, how do I compress the work to give a sense of timelessness, to give a sense of movement in time, and also kind of a trapped in time. So that's why loops are so important to me, coming from Philip Glass and all these guys, because I like this idea of the compression of time. So, you look at Nikeloops as a perfect example. You spend 30 seconds in Nikeloops. To be honest, you kind of get it. You kind of understand what's happening. And for me, that's not a slight to me that, you spend only a little bit of time in my work. It's kind of, that's kind of just our behavior as people nowadays. And for me, it's a strategy of engaging that time. And one thing that really made me think about it over quarantine was actually right before quarantine. I had a conversation with Rashid Johnson, and he kind of challenged me a little bit about what am I asking for experience-wise? How do people think? And the thing that really stuck with me was this idea of a shorthand. When you look at a Jackson Pollock, you've seen Jackson Pollocks before, so you see a Jackson Pollock, you kind of understand what's happening in the space. And I want to do that with each individual piece of mine, where you spend that 20 seconds, that 30 seconds, and then you get a shorthand of what happens the rest of the way. So you understand it, now you can explore it. And that's my
Right.
way of kind of creating a space,
Mm-hmm.
an environment, because now you have a basic understanding of what's going on.
Mhm.
And now you can explore it to try to kind of eke out nuances and eke out like maybe a deeper conceptual or philosophical or whatever you want to say, a deeper understanding. So
No,
this
that makes
idea of timelessness is
yeah,
I'm thinking about that a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's yes. No, again, and very successful. I'm curious about going back to the body and embodiment and in the body that you're in and you again, and as Black male and in terms of the process of the work and also the way in which the work, you running, in various locations. I'm curious, how did that impact your choices, questions of, again, where you were shooting, questions of safety, and then, and how does that relate to what's, currently maybe relevant in regards to that? I was curious.
Yeah. Honestly, it kind of, my particular body kind of reared its head in a couple different ways. So the original work actually was maybe specific in that it was actually somebody running after me. So the original work was somebody running after me in the same space. So you would see this person behind me, and who that person was kind of varied throughout the conception of of the early conception of the work. And at one point, I was thinking of having somebody, chase with like a BB gun, or to really motivate me to kind of keep it pushing. And at a certain point, I decided to take that out because I think me being who I am, my body, and you can see, I wanted me to be slightly anonymous, but I also do have flashes of my skin and different things, so you can see the body that you are using as an avatar in this space. I felt okay releasing that part of it, allowing that to be embedded in the work in maybe a more subtle way. But that definitely was the beginning conception of the work. And I've actually done a couple test shots in the past, one that actually is its own work now, where that was a case, and that was very much the thought process of that work or of that attempt at the work. The other way that, my skin color really kind of became prevalent was choosing the location, very much so actually, because there was a couple places that I really wanted to shoot, but I knew because there were residential areas that me being out there, every day for 3-4 weeks, a month, 2 months, was probably not going to fly. And so even though it had the trees that I wanted and kind of had the space that I wanted, I had to cut those off my list. I had to find other ways, which I think happens a lot for someone who looks like me. You have to find other ways to kind of go around what could potentially be an issue. So instead of like doing it all in this one location, I shot the sky on the street next to where I live because I only needed a day to do that. So I had to kind of break what I thought as my documentary kind of element to kind of get my. So I had to work with who I am as a person, how people view me, or how people could potentially view me, to kind of get at what I wanted, but also be safe. Because towards the end of the work, you see that I'm also running at night, and there was actually further video of me actually running at night that didn't make it, and that was going to be a definitely no go. So so it's just something that I had to be aware of for sure. Right. And I think the work of a Black man running, I think we all kind of just understand what that could mean and what it could be. But I also wanted to take it away from my skin color, where I could be a Black man just running for himself, a Black man running to find himself and discover himself outside of the racial dichotomy that I'm being placed in because of whiteness or whatever you want to say. So it was important to me at a certain point to make it about me, my journey, and your journey in my body,
Mhm.
in that way.
Well, it was beautifully done. And again, yes, freedom from the box. So,
Freedom from the
you know,
box.
freedom from the box. And again, congratulations on your work.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my honor. My honor. My honor.
Yeah, Bridget, thank you so much for being part of this conversation. I want to note that Bridget and Be Done Movement have a workshop series going on at Culture Hub, and the third and final workshop will be on May 15th. And if you want to go more in depth and learn more about their process, and they're talking about movement and dance and storytelling using VR, extended reality, is a free workshop. So go ahead, you can sign up on the Culture Hub website. Thanks for doing that, Bridget, and thanks for being here.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
again, thank you. Thank
And
you both. Yeah.
Joseph, thank you so much for your work and for your creative spirit.
Thank you. I will note that the live stream version is stereo. So if you would like to see or hear the work in 360 audio, there'll be a link somewhere where you can hear it in 360 audio. And what that basically means, you can move around and it will change as if you were, even more so as if you were out there running yourself.
Yes. So we will now play Nikeloops a few more times on a loop so that you can continue to experience it, send a link to your friend. After the live stream ends, like Joseph is saying, you can come back to Culture Hub's YouTube page where you can check out the piece with spatialized audio, which means, if you're oriented this way, there will be a sound that comes from that direction. And that is a complex process. I also want to shout out Sangmin Che, who's Culture Hub's creative technologist, who is instrumental in this work.
Thank you, Sangmin.
Yeah, big shout out. He's the one operating this live stream right now. And I also want to mention that this work was supported within the Culture Hub residency program. So, again, thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. We'll play it a couple more times now.
Love.
GoPro stop recording.
Left.
Go. Stop recording.
I'm the black.